Welcome to CWS Christian Writing and Speaking. I'm your host, Jackie Wilson, and today's guest is a certified personal trainer who wants you to take a rest day. And she is also a nutrition coach who wants you to enjoy dessert. She founded Grace Health in 2016 to equip women with simple and grace-filled ways to take care of and appreciate their God-created body and enjoy a little chocolate in the process. She is the author of the book, Your Worthy Body: Find Freedom and Health by Breaking All the Rules. Currently, she lives in the Houston, Texas area with her husband, their always hungry teen boys, and their princess pit bull named Grace. Let's welcome to the CWS stage, Miss Amy Connell. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you, Jackie. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yes, I'm so excited. First of all, we have to hear this story on why you say it's okay to have a little chocolate, but overall, your journey about mixing health and Christianity and how it affects the people.
Well, I will start by saying I used to be the person who would shame myself if I was eating something that either the magazine articles or, which was a long time ago. There's not so many magazine articles anymore, but all of this, there's a lot of health information out there. We get it on the morning shows. We get it on BuzzFeed. We get it on Apple News, that app, wherever it is. And there's so much information coming at us. I am a rule follower by heart, which means I want to do things to obey the rules. I am a type 9 Enneagram. I want to please people. You please people by following the rules. And I really, let's just be honest, I just wanted to have a really rockin' body. And I wanted to manage my body with exercise or with movement, which is what I like to call it more now, and with food. And what it turned into was, quite honestly, and I love talking on faith-based podcasts and Christian podcasts like yours, because I can say that turned into an idol for me. And a lot of your community is going to know what I'm talking about. I was so obsessed with making sure that I had all of the right food, that I was exercising enough. If I ate a little too much one night, then the next day I was trying to work it off. And it just was so all encompassing. Now, in my mid 30s, so I'm in my late 40s now. During my mid 30s, I was involved in a Bible study, and I was really growing closer to God. These women were just challenging me. We were in wonderful studies, and my relationship with God was growing more intimate, more, closer together. But I was still really focused on this physical aspect and really just thinking all the time about, just this running commentary. I should be eating this. I should be moving this. I should be working this off. All of this stuff. And I remember doing laundry one time, which is quite unremarkable, but I heard him whisper to me, "You're spending more time thinking about the food you're going to eat and how you're going to work than you are about me." And all of a sudden I realized that I had been creating this idol out of my health, and how perfect could I get it, when really what I needed to be focusing on was growing closer to God, doing what he wanted me to do with my body, and with a body that functions well, with a body that feels well. But maybe I actually don't need to have that belly button ring that I really wanted to get. And, and maybe having 6-pack abs that I also wanted to have and never had, maybe that's not so important. So God really took me on this journey of refocusing my health and why I take care of myself. And my church at the time was doing, we were going through a different series, and one of the series was called, it was focused on getting healthy as a church. And, sometimes we need that within our church bodies. And I walked in, I'm going to be very honest, Jackie, I walked in and I thought, I'm here because I really like to worship, because it's the only time that I'll sing out loud because I have a terrible voice. I'm not like, I run, I drink water, I eat kale. Like, what is this guy going to tell me that I don't already know? And I don't know if you've ever questioned that when you've walked into church, but God will probably have a great answer for you. And that answer was the crux or the thesis of the sermon, which was we take care of our bodies so we can do what we're called to do. And that was the biggest light bulb going off, because all of a sudden it took away all of the focus on what I looked like and shifted it to how I can use my body to love others, to do things that build other people up. And it took it away from me to other people. And I love to use the example of agape love. We hear of agape love in the Bible, which is more of that brotherly love, which is it's an action based, like showing people love through various ways. And to me, if we can agape love our bodies, meaning we look at our physical selves as a vessel to love others the way that Jesus loved us, then it's so freeing and it is so grace giving. So going back to the chocolate, yeah, have a little chocolate. That's okay. And P.S., chocolate actually isn't terrible for you. I mean, maybe don't eat 15 Hershey's bars in a day, but chocolate is good for you. And my body is not going to be thriving and functioning well if I am hitting it hard at the gym every day or working out several hours a day. And that's why I want people to take a rest day, because when we take a rest day or a day off, then our bodies can replenish and repair, not unlike a Sabbath day, to be quite honest. It allows our bodies physiologically to repair a lot of the stress that we have caused it through movement, however that is. And it will kind of gear us up again. So take a rest day, take 2 rest days if you need to. I mean, like whatever works for you. But the main crux of my ministry is helping women understand that their body is way beyond what they look like, and that we can use that in order to love and serve others the way that Jesus did.
Yeah, and you actually wrote a book about this, right?
I did. Yes. So I wrote a book that was published in November of 2021 called Your Worthy Body: Find Freedom and Health by Breaking All the Rules. I have been a fitness professional for 17 years now. I've been doing group exercise so long that I used to do step aerobics in a thong leotard. So, which dates me. And I'm really glad that trend has not come back yet. I'm really hoping we don't see that anymore. But I've been moving for a really long time. And quite honestly, Jackie, there are certain professions that have to have continuing education, and fitness professionals is one of them. So every 2 years, I have to attain so many continuing education credits. Well, the more I really learned, like from the experts that are bringing in science and research back information, the more I realized that in general, Americans are just taking little bitty snippets of what we hear or what's fed to us, and we don't really understand the fullness of the intent. And so you might hear on a show or from someone else, high intensity exercise is great for you. It is great for you. There's a lot of benefits, but not every day. And if you do it every day, then it's going to hurt you. But people will hear, HIIT workouts, that's high intensity interval training. Go to do a HIIT, and you're doing a HIIT every 7 days a week. Well, really, you shouldn't do more than 3 days a week. And that's at like pure fitness conditioning levels. So this book really came out of me just sitting across the table with my friends having coffee, or we're having lunch, or we're on a walk, or even you're at a holiday party and it comes out that you're a fitness professional, and it turns into confession. Like, forgive me, trainer, for I have sinned. I haven't been to the gym in 3 weeks. I haven't done that. I like all of these things. And I just felt like we all need to give ourselves more grace. We need to understand the science behind these quote unquote rules that we hear. So every chapter in my book is a health, you can call it rule or myth, to break. And it uses exercise science, it uses nutrition science, and it's all done through a lens of faith. So my readers, when they finish the book, they are equipped to figure out how they want to move, what's best for them, how they feel like they can eat in a way that will make them feel good. Because you and I may have very similar goals, but something might feel like make my stomach turn and make my stomach feel, kind of icky, and you thrive in it. So it is not a diet book. I want to be very, very clear. It is not a diet book. And it is not a how-to book, but it is a book to equip you to figure out how you can take care of your uniquely created body so you can go out and love and serve others.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how are you integrating that book into the faith community? Do you have groups? Are you teaching classes?
That's a great question. So a couple things. One thing is I do speak to churches and women's groups and churches. I tend to lean more toward women. Men have read, actually, my audiobook producer was a male, and he was like, this is really great information. But I really like speaking with women more because it's just different. It's just different. So yes, I do speak with churches. I have my own podcast that I will communicate this message, on as well with my guests. But then the other thing too is like this book. One of the churches that I spoke with, they took it and they turned it into a small group, and then I was able actually to meet with them. And I can always come on and do a Zoom if it's not. I mean, more than likely it's not local, just to meet and answer questions, and that was a lot of fun. I am also, working toward getting that message, which is not the answer to your question, but I will be taking this in a more secular aspect to more corporations, because I feel like I believe in the message of it, and, where I'm respectful of all faiths, but I'm not losing mine. And I will never, ever, ever deny my faith with that. But yeah, I'm just kind of trying to go where I'm led, and really trying just to glorify God and get the message that he wants out. I mean, it's funny. Every person I talk with kind of has a little different need, and I can't fit all of those needs, but I can hopefully plant a seed of grace, of freedom, of balance. And hopefully that enables people to be able to take that next right step for them and feel confident in doing so. I also do teach classes. I do train clients on a limited basis. Right now I'm doing, we're recording this in the summer. I don't know when it's coming out, but one of my favorite things to do is I have teen fitness classes. So I just do group fitness classes with them, and do some nutrition lessons with them. So that way they're getting really good quality information and not necessarily stuff from Instagram and followers, and maybe something that's not exactly, I'm trying to be respectful here, but maybe getting some information that's not exactly accurate.
Yeah, no, totally understand. And I love that you are going outside of the Christian community to share this message. It's like you said with corporations. I think that it's important because when we talk about giving ourselves grace, I know you will find many people on the outside of the Christian faith who are struggling with giving themselves grace. But I was thinking in my head, what a great way to evangelize, because you're not losing your faith. And they may ask you the simple question of, well, how can you be so calm about this? How can you be so cheerful or joyful about this? Like, my situation is bad, or I'm struggling and I don't have, that same joy. And I said, what a great way to evangelize to other people. Besides going out into the corporate world and doing more classes and continuing on your podcast, do you have additional plans of how you want to take this message out into the world?
I do. And it's one of my goals. I was actually relooking at some of my annual goals, and I'm not doing a great job of it, but I am going to take the content from the book and condense it and shift it a little so that it is a young woman's version. Because this book, as you read it, I talk about my kids. I talk about my over 40 body. I talk about things that women in my community resonate with and understand. Now, obviously, I've had people, in their 20s read it and provide wonderful feedback. I also know that a young woman, 16, 17, 13, 20-year-old, they may not want to read 292 pages. They like things in shorter increments. So my plan is to take the same content, the same chapter structure, and change it so it's more interactive, it's more introspective, more journaling, maybe provide a little bit more Bible verses or something like that, more reflection rather than just reading. And my hope is to be able to get that out to young women so they can receive a planted seed, and God will grow that faster than he did in me, because that seed was planted in me many, many, many years after the fact. Often when I hear, and when I'm talking with women, they're all my age, they have young adult teenagers, and they're like, my daughter needs this so badly. And so I want to be able to provide that. And my hope is that it's something that they can do on their own, or maybe they can read with their mom. And it's a great opportunity for them to have those kinds of discussions with their mom. And, oh, well, I didn't realize that, not all cultures have the same body ideal. I didn't realize that, that these are the things that influence us. And so maybe to have those conversations, because I think that that's really where the healing begins, is at least talking about it and helping to realize why we take care of ourselves. Again, going back to so we can do what we're called to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell people how they can connect with you.
I would love to connect. Thanks for asking. I am Graced Health pretty much everywhere. That's GRACED Health. I'm right now most active on Instagram. I also have a Graced Health podcast that you can tune into. And then, of course, the book Your Worthy Body is available at Amazon. I do have ebook, paperback, as well as audio, and I read the audio. So it's however you like to consume your books, it is there.
Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Amy. And I just want to say to the audience, I think many of us have struggled with some sort of body issue. And I think the most important thing that Amy said here today is about giving ourselves some grace. Stop being so hard on ourselves. That's not saying don't do the work you need to do to get get yourself into a good, healthy shape, eating the right foods. But give yourself some grace, and then understand why it is important for you to be healthy. You have a greater calling out there, and God is interested in every aspect of your life. So make sure you're connecting with Amy. And if you have any questions, I'm sure she'll be happy to answer them. But until next time, beautiful people, God bless.